me get to that moment where it clicked for you with Bitcoin, because you said you studied this for 3 years, and that is about right. You left the White House in 2017. You started accumulating in 2020. I've heard you say some pretty prescient things about this piece of technology, and you said before, either you get it or you don't. To a lot of people, what was the thing where you were like, okay, I'm convinced now? And again, you didn't have to do this. You were, running a conference, a massive fund. You could have easily stayed out of this game and continued your life, but you decided to go into the fray, into the storm. So something must have clicked with you, or maybe that's also your personality.
Well, I don't want to be overly philosophical, but there was a eureka moment for me. When Mark Andreessen said that this was more important to work on than the Netscape browser that he created, than the actual web browser and all the exponential growth, synergy, and productivity of that, I said, it was okay, I got to understand this better. When Jack Dorsey, the founder of Square and Twitter, said that the most important thing he can work on in his lifetime is Bitcoin and the blockchain. These guys are a lot smarter than me, Brian. And I said, okay, I have to understand where they're coming from. And I don't want to oversimplify this, but I want your listeners and viewers to understand something. If they're right, and I believe they are, what is the blockchain providing? It's providing permissionless transaction activity. It's providing peer-to-peer transaction activity. We don't have to trust each other. We don't have to know each other, but we can trust the forces of the blockchain to allow us to transfer value or to exchange goods and services without bartering. And I just want you to think about this for a second. You get your identity from the government. In New York, I'm issued a New York state driver's license, and I'm issued a governmental passport from the United States if I want to travel abroad. But with the forces of the blockchain, I could actually prove that it's me over the blockchain, and I could self-create my identity over time, where sovereigns and other people will actually accept that that's actually me. That's my fingerprint in the digital space. When you stop and you think about it from that point of view, the synergies, the cost savings, the dramatic changes in our world. I buy deodorant from Amazon. The deodorant I buy is typically made by Procter & Gamble or Unilever. Amazon is a third party. I'm going to them because I trust them that are going to deliver it to my doorstep. And those two producers of the deodorant trust Amazon that Amazon is going to pay them. But over the blockchain, I may be able to someday go directly to those two producers, and they'll trust that they're going to get that payment because it's coming to them over the blockchain, that value transfer, and they may be able to deliver that deodorant directly to my house, cutting out that third party. Now, that seems incredulous to people, but it may not be. And so when you really understand the philosophical tenet of what is going on here, that we've improved our money, the same way this smartphone has improved our communication, and we have more computing power in this phone than landed those people on the moon 52 years ago, the internet of money could start eating our bank branches. It could start eating our service providers that we see as third-party intermediaries in the exchange of commerce. And let's just talk about this phone one more time. All these books in this room can be eaten by this phone. In addition, there's room on there for my videos. There's room on there for my photography. Or I have a search mechanism where I could search all the great libraries of the world from this phone. So what is software doing? It's actually eating the world. It's miniaturizing it. And this electronic form of money can actually do the same thing. We could start seeing things disappear. And I'll tell you what, that's very green. In the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, I'm driving to the bank branch. So's the teller. We're going to heat that bank branch in the winter. We're going to cool it off in the summer. Think of all that carbon emission. But now I can just use this phone and I can begin the process of transacting with each other. And I just want you to think of the ecological savings of that and the monumental cost savings involved. And so once you get that, once you have that eureka moment, in the immortal words of Michael Saylor, and I know you've had him on, he said his first Bitcoin was the hardest one to buy, but once you buy the first one, you recognize you don't own enough of it. You have to figure out more ways to squeeze more and more of it into your portfolio. And so I hope that wasn't too long-winded, but I want to at least explain to people where we are philosophically.